Hello, Virgo. My name is Missy, and I am here to read some AstroCharms for the month of September. We're starting off with the song Halloweeny for Innards by Ashniko. What I'm going to do is pull a oracle card from our Mother Mary deck, and then I'm going to pull some cards from the House Lights Tarot before we move on to our charms here. And when we get to the charms, I'm going to read that the way that I would a transit reading. So give me a second to get the card shuffled. If you hear my bird in the background, I apologize for that. She's being very lovey-dovey and wants some attention, so she's right here next to me. These readings are meant to be timeless and general in nature. If the details fit for your situation, the reading is meant for you, but if they do not, please do not try to force it. That will do more harm than good and is definitely not my intention. I'm not a doctor, lawyer, or accountant, so if you need advice in any of those areas, please consult a professional, and please do not do something simply because I suggest it in one of these videos. You are an adult who has responsibility for your own life. Please use that responsibility to your advantage. All right, let's go ahead and get the cards cut. Now we have Led Zeppelin, Over the Hills and Far Away. Okay, and we've got Our Lady of Blessing Bestowed. Interesting. Let's get some more cards to see what else is happening. One more. Oh, you know what? The way that they fell, we're going to take them. And now we've got Strength on the bottom of the deck. Interesting, both of these cards are the number 8. This one is 26, which breaks down to an 8, and this card is an 8. So could be just about abundance, which we already know because we have Blessing Bestowed as the name of this particular card. But it does not have to be. Look at this, Our Lady of Manifest Miracles. Obviously, something good is coming in for Virgo. So now we have blessings and miracles. All right, let me look at these real quick. We've got the Two of Cups, the Five of Pentacles, the High Priestess, Knight of Swords, Ten of Wands. All right, High Priestess is in the center here of this 5-card spread. And so what this is saying is that you're basically your intuition is telling you something, right? And you're going to need to be strong with the Strength card here. I'm going to be really honest. There's a lot of tools here in these 2 cards. We use tools to work. And with the Ten of Wands, there's a lot of, the Ten of Wands, just the meaning of the card by itself without looking at the pictures. The meaning of the card talks about carrying a lot of responsibility. And then we have this Knight of Swords who, it's air energy. And so it's very intellectual energy. But this particular Knight of Swords is, he's presenting a little bit, not just like a bad boy, but he's presenting a little bit like the Knight of Cups, because we do have these 2 girls here in the background. So he's a little bit of a bad boy, like he presents in such a way that, he gets attention, obviously. The thing is, hold on a second. Hold on. That knife, that switchblade he's holding is a fucking comb. Oh my God. So whoever this person is, God, it feels like work. Okay, I just have to be honest. This feels like work, even though there's no like, well, there's one pentacle here, but based on, well, based on the other stuff. So this person, I feel like this, okay, I feel like in the past, right? Maybe there was a job that you had, because we do have the Five of Pentacles here, and the Five of Pentacles typically talks about feeling lack for some reason. Two of Cups is typically an emotional situation, but because of the rest of the cards, I'm going to read this as work. So you right here, you've got people trying to see eye to eye. They're coming to some sort of an agreement, some sort of cooperation, support of each other. They're obviously, you know, those two are together in some way, but then we've got lack energy directly after that, especially because like here she is, she's cleaning, she's working, and she's crying while she's doing it. So this, again, even though this is supposed to be a card about like relationships and romance and dating, I don't really feel like that's so much the actual energy that's meant to come through. I feel like this is a job situation where you probably had a job before that wasn't paying you. Like you were doing a lot of work and you weren't getting paid, even though you were being promised this right here when they were courting you, when they were trying to get you to take the job, right? They promise you XYZ, please do this for me, but it doesn't, they're not coming through with the money. And then here's this other person, and it actually kind of feels like this might be a job offer or opportunity or something. And I do feel like there's a lot of work and a lot of responsibility attached to it. But I think it's saying, well, I think it's saying something else that I'm going to get to in just a second. But I feel like this is, dude, okay, hold on. What I was going to get to in just a second, it just fucking came through in the song, and you can't make this shit up, but I'll get to that in just a second. I feel like what this is saying, especially with these cards here, and then the Strength card coming out in the bottom, right? Where it says Scrubbo soap pads, greater value, basically 12 pads, greater value, shines aluminum fast, right? And this is a blessing. We have a miracle here. So whatever this new opportunity, job, or whatever it is, I think there's going to be a lot of work attached to it. You're going to feel very much overwhelmed. But I think you can handle it, is what the cards are saying. Now, to get to the second thing that I'm seeing, because of the Two of Cups and these women with the little hearts coming off of their heads, and this dude on the bike who looks like he looks like he's dangerous, but actually that's a comb. He's meant to look that way. It's just his style, right? Like there's something about his appearance is meant to strike you that way. But I also think there could be a little bit of like flirty, something going on, especially with this song, because it's Drinking Alone, Carrie Underwood. So, you know, take that however it resonates for your situation. I don't think that it's anything serious. It could be something fun, but yeah, I don't know. Take that however it resonates. I'm going to put Strength on the top of this little pile here to remind you that you can, like whatever this hard work, extra work, whatever it is, like you absolutely can handle it. It's going to give you greater value, even though it's the same amount of work as what you were doing before, or like it's a lot of responsibility, but it's going to give you greater value than what the other job was bringing. Sorry, I had to take a drink of my coffee. So when I read these charm boards, and like I said, I read it like a transit chart. If the charms fall in the very center of the board, this is going to be like the main message for September, or something that's going to happen like immediately, or that needs your immediate attention. If it lands in any one of these houses, I'm going to read it for, specifically for that house, but anywhere on the board is going to represent for the month of September itself. If it falls in this green outer ring here, that will be, about up to anywhere from 1 to 3 months after the reading, or after you watch the reading. That's what the timeline is for that. And anything that falls on the table itself, the timeline is going to be 3 months to a year. Oh, one of them almost jumped off the table, and I don't like for them to jump off the table because that means something really bad. I'm going to read it anyway. Because it did not, I was able to stop it before it jumped off. But it is coming out over, so that could be why it jumped off the table. So it's coming out over the house of children, which is the 5th house. This is also creative pursuits, but because of this particular crystal, this is the desert rose, which is, it's a piece of type of selenite. And so the energy that comes from this particular crystal is very gentle. I can't tell if that's focusing or not. I guess it is. And so I feel like it's saying over the next several months, you're going to need to be very gentle or very delicate with your kids for some reason. Or if you don't have, like if you're working with kids or something like that, you're going to need to be delicate, gentle, like, you cannot be like I feel like it's saying a soft tone is the best approach here over the next several months to a year when it comes to your kids. Okay, so we also have a piece of smoky quartz in the very center. So your focus for September, it feels like from this is to like transmute all of that negative energy, especially if you're stressed and worried about any kind of like new job, or you're feeling overwhelmed or something by your work. They're saying, definitely do whatever you need to do to balance that out, to, ground that negative energy down, into Mama Earth so that you're no longer carrying it around. You want to turn it into something happy and something creative, something with potential. We have the song Fat Bottom Girls, Queen. So we don't have anything hitting the 1st house, which it kind of says like there isn't anything specific happening to you personally, but we know that it is happening to you personally. Like, I feel like what that's saying is this is more about what's happening in your head rather than anything happening to you physically or in the physical realm. Like everything that's happening is happening in your head or heart, how you feel and what you're thinking. But when we come to the 2nd house, we have the letter B. Actually, any of the letters that come out, those can be the initial of a person, place, or thing that can be very important for whatever reason, which usually depends on the house that it falls in. So to have the letter B fall over the 2nd house of money and possessions, but this is also like your values, right? So if you're up in your head about work or a job, and your values are coming into play, especially with this, we've got the mountain, and then we've got the dragon and the arrow that came out literally stuck together. In fact, I'm going to have to play with it well, now I got it apart, but to have these two come out together, dragon energy, a lot of people can see it as like greed, right? But I feel like with the arrow attached to it coming out over the 2nd house, if it is talking about greed, what it's really talking about is looking out for yourself so that you can overcome some sort of financial obstacle with the mountain here, like financial challenges. also that came out over the symbol for air. So again, these challenges are really stuck in your head, but having this come out in the house of values, like what do you value? Of course, you're going to value, making money that is more proportionate, a much more fair wage, something that is more balanced to the work that you're putting out, right? So it's not really greedy, and it's actually to your benefit, or it's with the arrow, it's saying, you need to be you need to aim for not really greed, but like self-preservation when it comes to your money. And it could be surrounding a person, place, or thing with the initial B. So for the third house, we have the rose quartz coming out of the third house. So that's talking about, like, again, the rose quartz is all about taking care of yourself, having respect and love for yourself. And so you need to show that in your communication with others, especially if, you have to leave one job for the other. We have the song Goodbye My Friend, Pop Evil, and it's exactly 11:44. And I was getting ready to look at the fourth house right now. So, take that how that resonates as well. But having the open heart key and a piece of citrine over both the third and fourth house. Well, the open heart key was over both the third and fourth houses, but the citrine was in the fourth house. So you are going to bring a lot of benefit to your family, to your home life, excuse me, to your home itself, your security, by taking care of yourself first, being honest and open about exactly how you feel and what you need when you're communicating with others, especially family members or people that you work with, if it has to do with a job. Like, that's going to be the best way for you to be on target with the dragon and arrow there. So coming over to the seventh house, because we don't have anything, well, we talked about what's here, but in the seventh house, I think there's someone probably, I want to, not really frenemy, but I think this is someone that you might be in competition with that might have some very good advice for you, or they may teach you some sort of lesson. I don't think it's going to be a difficult lesson. I think, excuse me, now I have the hiccups. I don't think it's going to be a difficult lesson. I think that because the owl is facing upwards, I think you kind of, it's something that they say to you, right? This isn't not something that somebody's doing underhanded or where you're embarrassed and you learn a lesson or anything like that. This is like a conversation or something that somebody is saying to you. It might put you a little bit in your feelings because of the moon. But you have the grapes. I think ultimately, like within several months, if you listen to the advice or put this wisdom to good use, it'll bring abundance for you. It could be attached to a person, place, or thing with the initial M. And it could be attached to like money, because that M is coming out over the house of other people's money or joint resources, right? So, if this could be like your job or your spouse or whatever here. We don't really have a lot in the ninth house, but we do have another moon kind of sitting in the ninth and the 10th house. And I do have to say, if having the moon in Taurus in the ninth house, that's actually really good placement, right? The moon in Taurus, the moon is exalted in Taurus. It's very happy and comfortable there. And so to be in the ninth house, what that tells me is that you know exactly who you are and what you want and where you need to go. And it's also straddling the 10th house, so you probably have a good reputation as well. You probably are seen as a star because of the stars that are on the moon. So having a good reputation, being seen as a star, at least in your career in some way, you get attention, you stand out, you get noticed. There could be something that's changing because this is coming out over the mutable modality in the sign of Gemini. So it could be something that's changing in regards to your career, your reputation, the work that you do, how the public sees you, with the initial A attached to it. A person, place, or thing. But again, I feel like you really know who you are and where you need to go. So you need to let that be your guide, right? Like that's even, but take the advice over here as well. Lastly, we want to come over here to the 12th house, which this is very interesting because we have Leo sitting on the 12th house, but we also have a piece of carnelian and then a piece of tanzine aura quartz. Which is like, it's been treated to have the color of like tanzanite. So to put these two, like this tanzanite would correspond to the third eye or the crown chakra. Carnelian would correspond, hold on a second, they have the song Burning Bright. Burning bright, shine down in the sign of Leo that's ruled by the sun. You can't burn any brighter than the motherfucking sun. And I was just getting ready to talk about carnelian and the sacral chakra, which has to do with creativity. And Leo rules the 5th house naturally, right? Which is the house of creativity. The reason for that is because Leo, has to do with like music, joy, children, romance, fun, anything creative, but we're talking creative that is like beautiful as well, something that's going to catch your attention in some way. Actors or acting, especially it being Leo in the 12th house, because Neptune is the planet that is, a lot of actors or people who are going to be in the public eye for their art will have Neptune prominent in their chart in some way. And Neptune is the planet that rules this house naturally. So Neptune and the sun together would be, this is going to talk about like really creative, something very creative that comes naturally to you in some way, because again, like Leo is very magnetic and draws attention to them because they're so bright. Interesting. And the song is saying there's nothing ever wrong. There's nothing ever wrong, but nothing's ever right. Hold on. I'm listening to the lyrics real quick. So I was kind of trying to figure out why, because if you look at these two crystals together, it's actually very positive. It's talking about being connected and really, really having your sacral and third eye tuned into each other to create, and the beauty that comes from that. Like these two crystals together are very creative crystals, and Leo is a very joyful, happy, charismatic sign, right? But this particular song is talking about struggle. And this particular house can be about fear and nightmares, right? I wonder if there's there's some sort of struggle that's attached to your own creative endeavors, and maybe it has to do with this work in some way. More so than just the actual, I think this is, because where I was talking about the work that's going to be attached, the responsibility that's going to be attached to this possible new job offer, this is more than that. This has to do with the actual work, not the responsibility or the load that you have to do, but the actual work that you're doing, the quality of the work that you're putting out. More than likely it's something creative, or it has to do with children in some way, because this is Leo, and we had this first message come out about children in the 5th house. So yeah, it's about really being careful, not really being careful, but I feel like there's this fear of not performing to the utmost or something like that. Like, so you're trying to really be careful to make sure that you do, but I don't think you need to, or something. There's something. All right, I'm going to leave it with this last song, which is Urgent, Foreigner. And yeah, I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell your friends, whatever you can to help me get my channel out there, as I'm new here, and I thank you for watching.